how you are reacting, how you are responding. You observe the emotion, the feeling. According to that, the chemical which flows into your body, in the survival mode, we are in the beta waves. You will be able to recognize the unconscious pattern which you have created. Good morning, friends. I introduce myself again. Myself, Bhuvaneswari from Chennai, India. I thank Pradeep ji for this divine project. Through this Swadhyaya, we have all united. And thank you, friends, for joining this today's section. Today, the Swadhyaya is from the book Becoming Supernatural. This is the book written by Dr. Joe Dispenza. To just a small intro about the author. The author is a doctor and he is a neuroscientist. He is a lecturer and a great man. This is the second book. The first book is Evolve Your Brain, and second is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and the third one is You Are a Placebo, and the fourth is Becoming the Supernatural. So today we are going to see from the book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And just small intro about the author. The author, when he was 25 years, when he was riding a cycle and he was to take a U-turn in the road, he didn't notice a vehicle coming in the opposite side and an accident was happened to him. In that accident, he had a greater damage in his ribs. All the backbones were displaced and the heart and the lungs, the position where it should be, it was all dismantled. He became unconscious and he was taken to the hospital. And when he came the conscious state, he asked the doctors he want to go home. He can heal himself. Even though they didn't accept that, through his friends, he came home and he did meditation early morning 2.5 hours, talking to the cells, and daily night 2.5 hours, talking to the cells to heal. Because he is a meditator, he is a neuroscientist, he knows how the body is working. So he used to talk to the cells, but he didn't have that energy also. So first week when he came home, only 25% he was able to do this. But he did not leave his hope. He was talking to the cells. That is how he used to talk is the cells where it is not working, the cells which are in the response, which are active, he used to talk to those cells to heal the cells which are next to that. So like this, he used to talk daily, mornings and night, 2.5 hours plus 2.5 hours. By the second week, he had 50% hope. He was thinking, oh, I have made a mistake. I would have been in the hospital. I came home. I should go again or not. But he had that confusion, but he did not leave his hope. He was again doing the same technique, talking to the cells. By the third week, he had 75% of hope and 25% only he couldn't have. But he was doing again this. And he was ready to go for swimming in the third week itself. By the fourth week and 21 weeks, he practiced all this and he became as a natural human being. And when he went to the college, the other colleagues were so disappointed to see him because he was asked to do a Harrington surgery where because the ribs were all displaced, no? So that surgery, even if you have done, he would not become recovered like this. But his courage and his knowledge about the neuroscience and the meditation helped him to become the supernatural and to become a normal person. And when he was doing this practice, he made a sankalpa that what practice I did and healed myself, I should do the lecturer workshops to everyone and reach everyone. So this is the intro of the author. So this book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, is talks about the neuroscience, about our mind, brain, thoughts, feelings, emotions. So we have to break. Why should we break? What is the purpose of breaking? Why should we break? Because we have to become a better version of ourselves, because we have the thoughts, feelings, emotions which control us. And so we have to break. So by breaking this, we can become a better version and become supernatural. So we have to know about the functions of the brain. Only then we will be having a better future. So what he says, and he is also a scientist who speaks about quantum physics in a very simple language where we all can understand. He gives us simple examples, so it is very easy for everyone to follow this quantum physics. He says that the quantum physics, the atom, which is 99.59 percentage of energy, and the physical substance is only 0.001%. Why you are giving so much of attention to the physical substance, which is only 1%? You are a quantum, and you are greater than what you think, what you feel, and what you act. So where you put your attention, the energy flows, because we are all energy beings. So where you put your attention, the energy flows. So when you change your mind, the brain changes. And when the brain changes, the mind also changes. So why you need to change your mind? Because the thought, each and every thought has an impact in our body. So what we think, what we feel, and what we act, because whatever we think, that gives a chemical substance flow in our body. So if you think positive, the chemical substance which flow inside our body has a positive effect. Vice versa. Okay. So when you are angry, when you are hatred, guilty, fear, when a thought comes according to that, the emotion, the feeling, according to that, the chemical which flows into your body is having a greater impact. So that chemicals brings the hormones of stress. So we unconsciously think, and we flow the chemicals into our body. So these chemicals have a greater impact, which creates a loop. So we think again and again the same way, and we act again and again in the same way, like a loop, and we have that same experience, and we have the same feeling, but what we expect is a greater change. How is it possible when you are thinking in the same way and you are acting and you are feeling the same emotion and you want a great change? How is it possible? So we have to think greater than the environment, than the body, than the time. So we have to overcome all this. So where you put your attention, energy flows. We are placing our attention entirely dependent on the environment, on the body. So we are conditioning our body. So if you think how we are acting daily, the way you slept night, you get up early in the morning the same way, and you go to the washroom the same way, use the same fingers to put the light, and use your shower in the same way, the whole day how you were. and you say, this is my way of behavior, this is my habit, and you have created a personality, and this is the habit, this is the habit which you have to break. Only when we break consciously, because we have inbuilt unconsciously the habits inside our body, and the body is working as a servant to the mind. So we have to change our mind only by the thought. The neuroplasticity says that you can change your mind and the brain, functioning of the brain, by the thought. So we are greater. So we have to think greater to change. Only then we will have the happier life. Where you have conditioned your body, you can remove the conditioning, the state. You can come out of the loop. So we have to think greater, because the thoughts are the language of the brain and the feelings are the language of the body. So whatever you think, that feeling is being impacted in your body, and the body is like a servant. You have to change that. So we have to break the habit of being yourself. Okay, masters? And next is how we are, how we appear inner, and how we are. There's a gap, because you appear to the outside world differently, but inner you are different. So you have to break that gap by the thinking process, so that you can become a better version of yourself. Only then the transparency comes there. Transparency is where you truly free yourself. What you think, what you feel, and what you act are aligned. You are authentic, but we are not 100% like that. So we have to consciously break. To consciously break this, meditation is a greater tool which helps to break, because the energy is needed very much for that, because the consciousness of the ego is very greater. It does not allow us to break that situation. So we have to overcome our ego. He has given some of the steps how you can overcome all this with the meditation techniques. But I follow this Anapanasati meditation only. But the technique is we have to change our brain waves, because we all know in the survival mode we are in the beta waves, and he says in the beta itself there is a low, medium, and high. The high beta waves gives the hormones of stress. So in the survival mode, we are in the beta waves. We have to move to the alpha, theta, and delta, and gamma. So the induction is where you sit consciously closing your eyes to change yourself. There starts the breaking the habit of being yourself. So 80% of the senses energy is gone through the eyes. So we have to close your eyes consciously then and there, so that you can calm your nerve cells. Only when the nerve cells are calmed in the brain, you can think greater. Only with the help of the knowledge and intelligence, you can change the habit of being yourself. Because it's only the intelligence which changes us. For that to happen, we need energy, because for the consistency, energy is needed, because the consciousness of ego is greater, because we have memorized years by years doing the same habits, following the same techniques, but we want a great change. How is it possible? Yes. So to for the change to happen, we have to close the eyes. Only then the nerve cells are calmed. Only when the nerve cells are calmed, we can change. So brain has a capacity to change. There is no age limit in nothing. So this new technology has proven that brain changes by the thoughts. So the thought should be elevated, that is happy, joyful, grateful, gratitude. And gratitude is a very greater effect in the brain thoughts. And next he says induction is the steps he says to change is induction is the first thing. Induction is means that we have to sit. So we are giving a way for the brain waves within us to change from beta survival mode to alpha and theta. Okay. So next we recognize what type of brain waves we have. Only when we recognize what are the unconscious thoughts we are having, we can come out of that. We will think to break that. So we have to recognize, then we have to redirect ourselves. So we have to redirect ourselves only then, and we have to admit ourselves to change, because the ego we have following, we have memorized the energy to flow like that, and we have conditioned our body to act like that. So we have to change, we have to admit. For that he says, when you are getting a same thought again and again, we feel to change, but we are unable to change. That time you can say loudly to yourself the word change, change. When you say that word loudly, the body listens to that word, so it starts changing. So you give way for changing. So by the thoughts, we can break the habit of being ourselves. Then he says that we declare, okay, I have this thought. We are becoming conscious of what thoughts we have and what we want to change. So we declare ourselves and we start practicing. He gives a week by week section saying, you write down what type of emotions you have. You write down the things like anger, guilt, fear, afraid, everything like that. You write down. Pick only one emotion, practice a week. You observe how you are having, how you are reacting, how you are responding each and every moment, because each and every moment is a precious. So how you are reacting, how you are responding, you observe and you declare consciously to come out of that. So we consciously put efforts to come, because we have recognized what type of brain pattern we are having. So we, after recognizing, you have to change. You take steps to change. Okay. The next one is surrendering. Surrendering is a it is surrendering not to the human person or the human force. You are surrendering to the source from where you have come, and to the infinite wisdom. You are surrendering to the higher source. So the moment you surrender, it is waiting for us. When we will surrender, or for us to help, it is waiting. When we give the way, we have to give the way for the quantum field to help us. So only when you surrender fully, we should not partially surrender and have some thought whether this will happen, this will not happen. You should surrender fully. When you surrender fully, then you will receive a greater energy from the quantum field, the infinite wisdom, because it is a source from where we are. It is waiting patiently for us, to help us, to guide us. So when you follow this technique, you will be in a greater version. You allow yourself. That is the thing. You consciously try to come out of the memorized energy which is inbuilt in your body. So you are starting to break yourself. And gratitude is a very greatest gift. When you give thanks, the energy flows abundantly. You can sense it. So these are one of the steps. He says, all if you practice each and every moment, take one emotion and practice each and every week, you can come out of that. You can break the habit of being yourself, because we have unconsciously built some habits. We say, this is my personality. You have an identity, you are this. You have to break that identity. Why we have to break? We are nothing. We are just a dust particle. We think the outer environment, the great. So we have to consciously do all this. Then you redirect yourself. By redirecting yourself, you surrendering, you redirect by saying all this again and again, checking yourself daily, your thoughts. You are creating a new self. You are breaking the habit. You want to break the habit of the old self, which needs a greater energy. This doesn't happen in a day or 2 days or a week, because we have created this for last few vasanas are there for janmas. So only when you sit for meditation, closing the eyes, you give way, and only then you recognize what are the inbuilt thoughts unconsciously we have built. So you start breaking all this by creating a new habits. So you become a new person, new life, you change, you take steps to change yourself. Only by changing, you can enjoy the life for the purpose for you have come here to this earth. So it is responsible for us to change, because how we appear and how we are not the same. There is a gap. We have to become transparent. For that, enormous energy is needed, and the energy to flow, we have to close your eyes, go inner, connect with your inner self, and create the energy to break. And we have to rehearsal this daily. Daily we have to remind ourselves, because we have unconsciously memorized some emotions, the way of habits for years and years. Only by the situations we will be able to know what type of habit we have. A pattern in our brain, a pattern is created, and a loop is created where it doesn't allow us to think greater. So we have to take enormous steps and rehearse daily, each and every moment consciously, to break the habit of being yourself, to become a better version. And this creativity, when we do regularly, helps us to become a greater. And we all know that the emotions, the feelings are inbuilt in our body by the thoughts, what type of thoughts we have. That thought, the neuroscience says, the words are scientific, but what you can see is make it easy, like how I made it is, when I think a thought, my thought which asked me, what type of thought is this? Where is your attention? Because where I put my attention, the energy flows. So what type of thought I am having? That thought starts firing. He uses the term firing, because there are enormous neurons in the brain, around the brain. When you thought comes, all these neurons join together and form a circuit. That is, he says, firing. And what type of thought you are having, and that chemical you are having, that emotions and feeling the wiring is happening. You hold thoughts not only the present moment or a week, or you are having the thoughts for years and years, 20, 30, 40 years thoughts. I am like this. You have created a pattern and you have hardwired it. You are firing and wiring that brain circuit and the pattern which is flowing that chemical inside our body. We are chemical body. The chemicals are flowing according to the thoughts, to the emotions. So we have to break the thoughts, the emotions, what we have inbuilt unconsciously for many years. So by changing all this, by rehearsing ourselves, by consciously creating new thoughts, by becoming awareness, by meditation, you get the awareness, you get the clarity, so you can identify what thought pattern you are having. So only when we identify, we can change the mind and change the brain. Only when you change your brain, the pattern you have, you can recondition the body. So to recondition your body, you have to break consciously the habits what we have. Because we are not this physical substance or the matter. We are a greater energy being. Only when we break the habit, we will be able to know the potential, unknown potentials what we are having, and we can become a creator. We create by the thoughts. So thoughts have a greater impact in our body, and with the thoughts we can change the mind and the brain. This is the simplest way he has said, and he says about the three brains, and we have to overcome the three things, big three things, that is the environment, because each moment we face the outer environment, we give more importance to the outer environment. So we have to overcome the environment. The body which we have tuned so many years, we have to overcome that, and that time also we have to overcome. And he says about the brain, the thinking brain, from the we have to go to the doing, and we have to go to the state of being what we truly are. By regular practice each and every moment consciously, everything is possible, masters. So I thank everyone for patiently listening to me. Thank you all.
So I have one question here. Like when you said that we have to break the patterns, sometimes we don't know that this pattern is the wrong one. We are so much into that pattern and we feel that, okay, this pattern is really the best one. How do you recognize that pattern, that what I'm following from so many years is the wrong one, or to change the one, I would say?
Thank you for
So,
this question.
yes,
So
that would be
I will
great if you can
share,
highlight.
yes, I will share my experience. How I recognized was because we all read in these books all this knowledge. So when I meditated, I had a question who I am, and that Ramana Maharishi I was following, I didn't know the answer how to know that who I am. So when I was just meditating, okay, the meditation energy, when it is filled in your body, it opens all the way to receive the correct knowledge. The right knowledge comes within us. And with that knowledge and with that energy, you will be able to recognize the unconscious pattern which you have created. Because we always think we are perfect and we are correct and we are doing everything correct. But only when you do meditation and the increased energy shows where we are imperfect. Because I was able to identify that. When, how do you identify is by the situation. When you have a situation only, when you, how you are acting to that situation, are you reacting or responding? At that time you will know how you are. And that time I was able to find the pattern. Oh, I have this pattern. Only then I was able to identify, and I was able to recognize and break. So it is a loop which we have created, memorized in our body, and it is going like that. For awareness to increase and to get the clarity, lots of meditation sadhana is very, very important. Only with the energies of meditation we will be able to identify, because suddenly I, the situation where I am reacting or responding, I could identify what pattern. Oh, this pattern I was able to recognize. So with this my own example I can say it is like a loop. The ego's conscious is greater, which we have created many years. It is inbuilt in our body. We have conditioned our body to act in the same way with the same thoughts, but we expect a greater change. How is it possible? So only the way you think you change. That is, you do lot of sadhana. Sadhana is important for this to identify. I feel, ma'am, this was because I recognized some patterns only because of this sadhana, and this meditation
True,
is helping us more to identify that.
true, true.
So this is my experience. I hope you get the answer.
Yes, yes, I got it.